I Do Not Look Like Mindy Kaling, published by Nadia Elahi on June 5th, 2023. We interrupt part 3 of PSB's visit back to the South with this post and will return soon to regularly scheduled programming of her April adventures from Monroe, Atlanta, and New Orleans. In the summer of 2014, my friend Vanessa and I enjoyed a day at Universal Studios. Vanessa's nephew was in town visiting, so she treated the three of us to a day in the theme park. For those of you who may not remember, Vanessa and I used to work at Universal as tour guides in the theme park portion of the studio. It was our first job in the industry after moving to Los Angeles in 1999 to pursue careers in acting. Many tour guides are aspiring actors, filmmakers, or screenwriters. Anyone wanting to break into the industry in some kind of way, and working at an active movie studio lot can be an avenue to take, so that's what Vanessa and I did. Anyway, on this summer day in 2014, many years after leaving the tour guiding world, we came back as guests. In fact, we came back this day taking the VIP tour, which meant we were part of a group of about 10 to 12 folks with our own VIP trolley, tour guide, and driver, where we were escorted to the front of the lines for all the rides and attractions, including visits to actual sound stages and sets in the front and back lot, a perk not part of a regular ticket experience into the theme park. We were feeling special that day. Well, during one of the stops to visit a soundstage, Vanessa and I made our way back to the trolley while the other members in the VIP group were still taking photos, visiting the restrooms, or just standing idle, waiting for the next part of the tour. Basically, we had a little pause in the tour, so we chatted with our driver. It turned out our VIP trolley driver was someone we remembered from when we worked as tour guides. After talking a bit and catching up about what we'd been doing since leaving Universal, the driver told me I could be Mindy Kaling's stand-in since I look like her. For any novice to who Mindy Kaling is, she is South Asian, a fellow American Desi girl with roots from India as opposed to Pakistan. She is a multi-talented comedian with credits as a writer, actress, director, and in 2014, she had a popular show, The Mindy Project, which filmed on the Universal lot. It aired from 2012 to 2017, so in 2014, it was a well-known comedy show on network television, Fox before moving to Hulu. I'm actually a supportive fan of most of Kaling's work. But how many comedy television shows in 2014 featured South Asian actresses as the starring lead on a network series? I'm guessing just the one, and it was Mindy Kaling's show. The driver saw me that day. Brown skin, dark hair, nose ring, Indian looking, so hey, Mindy and I could be twins. By the way, Vanessa later whispered to me, "You do not look like Mindy Kaling." Aside from her own discord with his comment, she could sense the uncomfortableness of it all from my end. And for the record, Mindy Kaling is not ugly. That's not my point. She's adorable, in fact. I admire her a lot. But my first initial thought to the driver was, do you think that just because we're both South Asian that I should certainly be her stand-in? Do you think this of Vanessa and other white actresses? Should Vanessa be Scarlett Johansson's stand-in? After all, I don't walk up to white people and say something like this. Nadia walks up to a random white person. "You know that white lady standing over there?" Random white person. "Which one? That one?" Points finger across the way. Nadia. "No, the other one, standing next to the other white people." "Well, are y'all related? Because y'all look alike. You're both white." Random white person. "Huh?" Nadia. "Exactly!" Throws her hands up in the air and walks off. I'm reminded of a time when I was living back in Monroe during graduate school, and a good family friend asked me if I knew these Pakistanis who he had just recently met somewhere or knew from some event. I honestly don't remember the exact details, just that he shared their last name and that they were Pakistani. But I mostly remember flipping the question back at him. "I have neighbors on my street who are white. Do you know them?" His wife, standing next to him, snickered. Just recently, in April, on April Fool's Day actually, I was up in the Santa Barbara wine country in the beautiful Santa Ynez Valley. My dear friend Carrie and I were at Sunstone Winery, a great place for wine tasting and exquisite scenic views with a very Tuscany feel to it. Anyhow, as we sat sipping our wine, our server came over to our table to pour our next selection from the wine tasting menu. By the way, since the pandemic, most vineyards have changed their everyone standing and tasting at the same bar model to separate tables and seating for individual parties like restaurants do. So as this lovely server poured our wine, and she truly was lovely in her polite attention and care for us, she told me I looked like the actress on The Sex Lives of College Girls, a Mindy Kaling show on HBO Max, now just Max. The comedic show, created and written by Mindy Kaling, centers on 4 college-age girls and, yes, their sex lives. I actually watch it and enjoy it a lot, feeling so grateful not to be in college anymore, though. One of the girls, yes, you guessed it, is South Asian, Indian to be exact, not Pakistani, and the server thought I looked like her. But when she sensed my awkward surprise, again, I do not look like the actress Amrit Kaur, who is pretty, by the way, but here I am, again, being told I look like this other South Asian girl, because, well, we all look alike, I guess. The server pivoted to say how pretty the actress is and how bubbly her character is on the show, and it all reminded her of me. I didn't doubt her sincerity in revealing this correlation between the character and me. Disclaimer, I am very bubbly by nature as well, and I get bubblier when tasting wine. I was with my girlfriend, chatting, having a nice time, so my animated nature came out. I guess much like the character of Bella, played by Amrit Kaur on the Mindy Kaling created show. But again, I felt a bit uneasy about the compliment. Regardless of my feelings, I thanked her, only to have this random woman across the way shout out to us, I guess she was eavesdropping, I was thinking the same thing. Good grief. Microaggressions come in all sizes, folks, even well-intended compliments as these were. And if you're unfamiliar with that term, microaggression, here's a basic definition of it. A statement, action, or incident regarded as an instance of indirect, subtle, or unintentional discrimination against members of a marginalized group, such as a racial or ethnic minority. I'm in a marginalized racial group. I was also the only Desi from what I could see at this winery. I've been dealing with microaggressions my entire life, from questions asking me where I am from when they don't accept Louisiana as my answer, to the assumptions made about me that I don't eat pork or red meat because I must be Muslim or Hindu. These are microaggressions in some form, and many folks like me deal with them all the time. By the way, it may appear that my scenarios are only targeted at the white population, and though these examples may illustrate that, there are other races besides white that think something similar about me and Mindy Kaling. A former student of mine of Latin descent once told me I reminded her of Mindy Kaling because of my humorous demeanor in the classroom. Oh, that was kind of nice, as she based her response on Kaling's true talent as a comedian and likened it to me. I'll take that. But it also made me realize that this student hasn't met a lot of South Asians. We can be funny. South Asian women are not the stereotypical quiet, submissive trope. Have you met some of the women in my family? We can be loud and funny, stubborn at times, and we can certainly stand up for ourselves. Another example comes to mind that makes me chuckle a bit. My nail salon is managed and owned by a kind and wonderful businesswoman who happens to be from East Asia, and most of the nail technicians employed by her are also East Asian. One of her employees, when meeting me for the first time, asked if I was that girl on TV. She didn't say the name, and since I wasn't on TV, I just said, no, I'm not. I did assume she meant Mindy Kaling. My assumption based on previous encounters, like with the VIP driver and the former student. Not to mention, the salon is minutes away from 2 major film studios, one being Universal. Maybe Mindy Kaling stopped in to get her nails done. But I get it. There just wasn't and still isn't enough representation of South Asians in mainstream media. It's certainly not the days of the 80s or 90s in television, so I am thankful for South Asian artists like Mindy Kaling, but she is not the outlier. And yes, there are more and more South Asian actors and actresses in American television and movies. Riz Ahmed, Lily Singh, and Simone Ashley come to mind. Growing up, my mom used to dress my older sister and me in matching outfits, and even though we are 2 years apart, we were almost always assumed by folks to be twins, despite the naturally straight hair I had and the naturally curly hair she had when we were kids. It used to drive me nuts. I love my sister. She's beautiful. But for me, it was always about claiming my own identity and wanting to stand out without being compared to someone else. I am the attention-getting middle child, after all. Okay, so here's a photo of Mindy Kaling taken from her IMDb page, and below her is a picture of Amrit Kaur Also from her IMDb page, from the show The Sex Lives of College Girls. And yep, at the bottom is a picture of your Pakistani Southern belle. You decide, readers, do we all look alike? If your answer is no, then congratulations. You are paying attention.